Peacefully reclining in the picturesque highlands of Guatemala lies the little town of Chichicastenango, one of the most colorful and interesting villages in all of Central America, it being the center of a region inhabited by almost 50,000 Indians, descendants of a once highly civilized people known as Mayas, who inhabited this land about 2,000 years ago. The colorful and imposing archway which forms the main entrance to Chichicastenango, however, owes its construction to the genius of the white man, for the ancient Mayas, with all their proverbial architectural skill, never discovered the principle of the arch. Fortunately for us, we have arrived on a market day, a day of great importance to the native Indians who tote their loads from distant hills and valleys to the marketplace, very much as their ancestors did hundreds of years ago. Aside from the business of trading, the marketplace is the center of the Mayan social life, in which the news of the day is exchanged, and all the gossip of the region is whispered from ear to ear. The Indians of Chichicastenango completely disdain the idea of using horses or wheels by way of assisting them in transporting their burdens. And there are still some of them in the outlying districts who may never have seen a horse and do not yet know the principle of the wheel. It has been said that some of these Indians have become so accustomed to carrying heavy loads upon their backs that they actually weight themselves down with stones when traveling if they have nothing else to carry, the thought being to keep in fit condition at all times for the unfailing burdens of life. Every day is a day of worship here, but on market days in particular, the Church of Santo Tomas is the center of constant activity, where even the village barber sets up shop and carries on his business. Although modern style of dress is slowly being introduced by a small group, the vast majority of the Indians still cling to the traditional costumes of their ancestors, as well as the manners and customs. Some historians claim that the unique garb of these Indians was worn by the Chichis long before the Spanish conquest, thereby disproving the popular theory that the Indians copied their costumes from the Spanish conquistadores. And now, by way of interesting contrast, let us divert our thoughts from the Indians and step into the patio of the Mayan Inn, where we may dance to the music of the marimba in a setting that seems to be part of another world. While we indulge in this delightful diversion of the white man, the Indians at the Church of Santo Tomas participate in their favorite diversion, which is of a much more serious nature. Perhaps there is no place on this earth where one may witness a stranger demonstration of religious fervor than here, where fanatically devout Indians, with mingled ideas and confused interpretations, combine the worship of their ancestors' pagan gods with the simple Catholic faith taught them by the Spanish priests over 400 years ago. Inside the church, there are no pews, for the Indians prefer to do their praying on the floor, kneeling before lighted candles surrounded by petals of flowers, proving their appreciation for color and beauty, even though their interpretation of the Christian religion may be somewhat distorted and confused. The pastor of this unique church is Father Ildefonso Rossbach, who came to Guatemala many years ago as a bookkeeper for a commercial firm. The plight of the Indians, however, aroused his sympathy, as well as his inherent desire to become a missionary. He went back to the United States to study for the priesthood, and in due time returned to Chichicastenango as a Catholic priest. That was in 1907, and since that time he has been devoting his vocation exclusively to the Indians, who literally worship him. They regard him as a saint who can miraculously bless the souls of the departed, baptize the newborn, and give ear to the sorrows and sins of the living. Tinged with the Indians' faint understanding of the Padres' religion is the old Mayan mysticism practiced on the lowest step of the church, where the native incense is burned so that the smoke therefrom will carry messages to the floating spirits of their ancestors, to whom they beg to come and intervene with them in their prayers to the divinities. Meanwhile, in an old-fashioned garden within the shadow of the church, Padre Rossbach communes with himself. Although he enjoys solitude, he is always glad to welcome visitors from the outside world. With pride, he talks about his beloved flock of 33,000 Indians, scattered over an area of 500 miles. He admits that not all the ceremonies practiced by his followers are in strict accordance with the ritual of the Catholic Church. But he explains the average Indian mind is not constituted to comprehend abstract doctrines of theology. Therefore, he must make certain allowances and only administer such sacraments as Holy Communion to the better educated Indians who understand the function. And now, while Father Rossbach prepares himself for another journey into the far reaches of his enormous parish, we observe again the pagan-like worship in front of the church. The remarkable fact about this whole demonstration is that after the Mayans complete their worship at the Christian shrines, many of them retire to the hills and uncover the hidden images of their ancient Mayan gods and pray to them in sincerest reverence, even as their ancestors did long before the coming of the white man. The moral of it all seeming to be that they are willing to accept the Christian religion, provided it does not prevent them from worshiping the pagan gods of their forefathers. And now it is time for Padre Rossbach to set forth on one of his regular missions to administer to the souls and bodies of the sick and needy who cannot come to him in Chichicastenango. In spite of his 70 years, he has been known to rise in the cold of darkest night and travel even on foot if need be, over mountains and through streams, in order to bear to some dying Indian the last rites of the church. And so it is that this solitary white man, now nearing the end of his long and lonesome life, continues to practice and teach Catholicism to a flock of semi-pagans, many of whom have become his devout followers, even though they may still be confused about the true meaning of the faith which has so admirably sustained Padre Rossbach, the living saint of Chichicastenango.